Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today's going to be a very brief video. It may even be a short, just to go over some stuff that happened over the weekend. As normal, we had a Super Bowl, and after every Super Bowl, there's a bunch of ridiculousness that is posted online everywhere that's gone over. One thing that stood out to me is Mr. Swift, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, Kelsey. Watching him on the sidelines screaming and shoving his 65-year-old coach, somebody's granddad and great-granddad probably, and somebody who has led him to 2 Super Bowls. I know he thinks he's the hero of that and the only one that's responsible for that, but I think, as everyone knows, team is much more than one person. So I'll go back to this quote, and this is from Theodore Roosevelt. And he said this around 1909. He said, "Americanism is a question of principle, of purpose, of idealism, of character. It's not a matter of birthplace or creed or line of descent." I think what we see going on in the country right now, you have a lot of people lost. They don't know what they should be. They don't know what character is. There's a lot of false realities that are being sold as normal and as regular expectations around things. I think what you're seeing, especially on the grand scale, and it's no greater now than it was previous, just now that everything's online and everything that's supported by the media is pushed, and it's negative in a majority of what you see. So to the point of this guy's act that's been so public, which was disgusting and disgraceful, and I don't care if he did have an excuse after the fact. I posted something to it on social media and quickly got some of his supporters. It's like this. If you are a fan of someone, that is fine, okay? But when you don't disapprove of poor behavior, no matter who that person is, that's a problem, okay? If you are not being selective based on your vision of what is good and what is evil, and if bad things being done by someone don't make you annoyed with that person where you call that out, then you have a problem. You have to ask yourself at some point, are you a fan or is this an idol that you are busy worshiping? Because if you don't have selectivity in your thought around a person or a thing, then what are you doing? You're subjugated at that point into believing they can do no wrong, which is fiction, and it's basically a duplicitous mindset because it's going to serve you poorly. So with this one example, I just remember John McEnroe back in the 80s, he threw a racket at a tournament, and that made national news, and it would not go away for years. And all he did was got upset because he made a mistake and he threw a racket, which he promptly, apologized for and then publicly apologized for. This person actually put his hands on someone that is an elder that he should be respecting because his elders led him to an elevated level of performance and recognition. And instead, this is what he's done. And of course, his fans are defending his actions, which are not defensible. So go back to that quote that I mentioned from Theodore Roosevelt. We are not in America anymore talking about unity or character as much as we used to. Whether you're Christian or not, and what I'm saying is coming from a Christian mindset because that's how I see the world and that's how I live my life. But whether you're Christian or not, you have an understanding of good and evil. All religions do have an understanding of good and evil, and all non-practicing folks believe in a basic way of treating humans and animals alike. So at the end of the day, there is a limitation to what should be accepted and tolerated. That's what's in question right now in this country is, are we tolerating too much? Because we're not pushing back because we think we'll offend somebody. I'll say this, those days are over, okay? You need to get back around having expectations around people and keeping them. And if people do stuff that's disgusting like what this clown did on national television, think about this. The next generation that's watching that football game, if we still allow children to watch it because of all the noise around the halftime shows and the commercials and the stupidity that is pushed out in front of your eyes and your family's eyes every single time those things are aired on television. Apparently this one was very highly viewed as well, which is kind of disappointing because I was thinking people were pulling away from the NFL some just because of all the nonsense that they've supported in the past. But that's what I would ask. I would ask, what's your expectation in watching those things? Do you let your kids watch them? And what do you expect from these people that your kids are idolizing? The people that are there. And use Swift for an example. She was on big screen chugging a beer, which would be understandable, not passable, but understandable behavior for a college kid. But this is a 34-year-old broad, right? So at the end of the day, what do you want to put in front of your kids? Is that what you want people emulating when they're working through their 30s? Is that what we should expect from people in America, especially when it's being put online? People used to have some discretion. People used to have, a little bit of personal reflection and insight on what they were doing and how their actions were portrayed. I know in the last 4 years, there's been a lot of nonsense on every outlet of just criminal behavior, non-American behavior, the absolute most ridiculous things that has not been punished by our government, just like our open borders. So here's the thing. In this country, we have constitutional law. Okay? All those things that break those laws will be punished. It may take a regime change of sorts. It may take an electoral change of sorts, but the punishment is coming for those actions. So at the end of the day, you cannot commit a crime. There's no limitation on those things that are being done, especially with the borders, and that is treasonous if you're not keeping our people safe and correct. But the biggest thing that we're impacting with all this noise and all this nonsense that is illegal is we're allowing the character of people in our country to slip, and we're allowing the character of people that we emulate to slip, and we're acting like we're okay with it. And that's the problem I have, and it's the purpose of the video. So, I hope this video is worthwhile. I don't get back into the opinions and back and forth on things. It's very simple. There's right and there's wrong. An excuse on why you did something that was ridiculous because you were emotional, that's not a valid excuse. You're still an adult human being. At the end of the day, you have to answer for those things. And the fact that the coach came out and said later, it's fine, I'm fine with it. Is he fine with it? What if he'd have tripped and hit his head on a bench? What then? What then? And then for the kids that watch that do the same thing and explode when they're in high school and they push their coach over and he hits his head on the bench, then what then? Right? So it has the impact, it has the implications of things. Stupid behavior gets stupid results, so it shouldn't be dismissed. I'm Ben. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Be good.